what difference do you see between thought paradigms regarding interactive marketing that agency folks in developed markets like Canada or the US have versus developing markets like Latin America?
I just think there's always this apprehension when there's a new channel. And so, some of the thoughts have to be around giving it the time to breathe, to become developed, to really have it defined. I mean, the other thing with interactive that makes it very unique is it's not one channel. Like we know on TV it's ads, and we know in direct marketing it's paper. And interactive, you're really melding everything, right? Banner ads are like TV ads or like billboards. You've got email marketing, which is like direct marketing. You've got search, which is like literally direct marketing. It doesn't even exist. You've got video, you've got audio, so I mean, there's so many things, and I think the challenge is that a lot of marketers just look at it and go like, oh, it's a headache, and there's technology on top, and they freak out. And so I think part of the thing for us as interactive marketers to have the win, I think the skill is to make people not be afraid of technology, to make them understand that it's ubiquitous, it's there, it's present, it works, and if it doesn't work, we're not going to use it. And it's funny, when I think back to why we started Twisted Image as an agency, the core philosophy of it was, and it's probably what you're facing right now, because we're still facing it, is the web, interactive, was residing in the technology department, the IT department. That's crazy. It should be the marketing department. So there's a challenge with that. If marketers want it, they can't be afraid of the IT people. And so this is sort of some of the new paradigms where, I go out on the road and I speak to people about marketers not being afraid of technology, not being afraid to ask, how does that happen? How does it work? And then at the same time, making sure as marketers, we are pulling this out of IT. IT is the infrastructure that's going to help us build it and execute it, but they're not the ideas, and they should not be championing the programs. And so I think some of those little reversals are going to help dramatically in the coming years.
Absolutely, totally agree with you. Now, you just mentioned one skill that we have to prepare for. Now, when you think about it, the way a brand is communicating and connecting with consumers is rapidly changing, or at least the way consumers are expecting brands to connect with them is rapidly changing. So what skills would you say a creative director, an account director, and a strategic planning director should develop and acquire to keep up with those rapid changes?
Listening. I think a lot of times creative directors are listening to themselves and to the brand for that sort of idea, that spark that's going to push them forward. But I think more than ever, we need to be listening to what consumers are saying and how they're interacting with it. The online world is so unique, right? We can actually look at that space and do nothing. Any brand can just look at that space and they still have a free focus group. It's real, live, and very organic because they're not a part of it. So it's not even fake, it's totally real. And I think the more that creative directors can immerse themselves in these many conversations that are happening on many different channels, I think they'll be able to understand more effectively that it's, we need to take advertising beyond that sort of better, wider, brighter, faster model and more towards these conversations. People want to be spoken to in a real human voice. They want to have real interactions and they want real connections. And we're getting there. And I think a lot of creative directors are looking more to the web. I'm seeing more and more every day.
We all know that up until now, no one has ever been fired for investing billions of dollars on TV. Right? I mean, that's something that's been done for the last 40, 50 years, right? What would you say does a marketing director or a brand manager needs to take into consideration to decide to take a risk and start doing things differently?
I'll tell you, in the new world, nobody ever got fired for putting search on the media buy either. And that's just the reality too, right? Again, it goes back to the fact that people are actively looking for products and services. You can't do bad. I mean, if it doesn't perform, you're not paying anyway, so why wouldn't you be engaged in that? I think in general, media people need to understand that the branding is one side, the direct is one side, and then there's this whole participatory culture that's coming up. And it's challenging to embrace all three, but that's going to be the win. The win is going to be embracing all three. You understand, as a media planner, it's not just about making my 15% cut off of a easy portal buy. Because if Mexico is anything like the US or anything like Canada, there's 4 or 5 places that pretty much if you go, you'll hit 85% of the online population. That's easy. The hard part is finding out those little niches where you need to go. Media planners traditionally don't dig that because they have to work and they don't want to work. It's easier to just get your 15% or 85%, right? So I think that that's the other side of it. More and more, they're being forced to not advertise, but to create compelling content. And And so the win for the new media people is in content.
Talking about the new media people, I have the impression that the education system is not really evolved. So,
Right, yeah.
so
It's not an impression; it's an accurate statement.
I have a younger brother. He's 12 years younger than me. He's still in college. He's actually studying the same career that I studied, the same major. He's actually studying with the same teachers. And what's worse, he's learning exactly the same that was taught to my generation 12, 13, 14 years ago.
Right.
So what's happening is that we have people fresh out of college joining advertisers, working as brand managers, and these are people who live online, who are on Facebook or MySpace or Orkut and YouTube and all these sites, and they're searching information, but still when they come on board and start working, they're thinking about TV.
Yeah. It's sad, isn't it? One of my passions is education, and there's a truism, which is that this is Sir Ken Robinson, one of the leading experts on creativity education, and he says, and he's right, that people in university today, when they graduate, odds are that the job that they're going to go for doesn't even exist while they're in school. It's going to be a new job. Interact with something like that. When you were studying, there wasn't even this industry to go into. There's a big challenge. These educational systems were built around the industrial complex. People working in factories and the people managing the people who work in factories. Everybody sit in a line with people your age, boys and girls, and memorize stuff. We live in a world now of mass collaborations and wikis and sharing knowledge, and we live in a world of concentric circles about organograms. And so it is broken. This is a broken system where if you wanted to have a new media put on a curriculum, you couldn't, because it had to be vetted by 4 PhDs, et cetera, et cetera. And the books don't even exist. We're blogging faster than the books can come out. Your best education is going to be Google Reader with 50 great blogs. You learn more than any book out there, right? And so we have a challenge, and by we I mean the IAB, because we're all family at this point. The IAB Canada, the IAB here, Google, in terms of what information they're providing, agencies, marketers. We have a challenge, and that's why I do what I do. That's why I'm here with the mic in front of my face. Is I go out and try to educate people, try to get them excited about the space, and try to get people to understand that you need to be there. This is an opportunity for people, you and I, to go back to these universities and do a day seminar, teach people, show them the way. Because you're absolutely right, young people come out of these schools playing on Orchid and Facebook on the mobile applications, and they don't realize that those are the tools they need at work. They're just doing it sort of like just naturally, intuitively. So we are moving towards this new era. I can say on the other side, some of these education facilities are picking up on this, and they're embracing the idea of wikis and Google Docs and things like that to really allow people to connect. But again, it's slow. I think people who are our age were so excited about this, it's like, come on everybody, let's go. But it takes a lot more time. And what I think we need to do is we need to provide benchmarks and best practices. I know we're trying, but we're not there yet because we just don't have the mass. I think this year some big stuff has happened, right? We've seen GM shift half of their budget, which is $3 billion, $1.5 billion online. In Canada, we have Procter & Gamble now shifting from 5% of their online to 30% as a test market. And I think that these are going to provide great stories for us to go to the other marketers to bring them in. There's another side of this though where we have to be careful. It's not always good to get all the big marketers into these spaces. Sometimes it's good to find the new heroes and help them shine in these spaces. And you're seeing some of the best brands, Google, eBay, Skype, don't really do mass advertising.
Who would you recommend that people read and just connect with?
I know people watching this are right now going, he's going to say Seth Godin, and I'm going to say Seth Godin. So that's fair. Fair game. Real smart brand marketer who's helping all of us. He's helping digital marketing people understand brand strategy. He's helping brand strategy traditional guys get web marketing. So I'm all for him. I'm all for guys like Joseph Jaffe, author of Life After 30 Second Spot, join the conversation. Great blog and podcast, Jaffe Juice, places I frequent often. Jeremiah Oyening, web strategy. Peter Kim, 2 guys from Forrester Research, who I think are just really cutting edge and really smart. And you know what, the truth is there's hundreds. And so what I tell people is hop over to my blog at mitchjoel.com or twistimage.com/blog, it's the same thing. And go to my blog roll. But also there's audio, there's podcasts too, and there's some great podcasts, great audio podcasts out there with really help. If you're not a big reader, you can check out some great stuff to listen to also, and just dig. I think one of the if you have a Google Reader or any reader, I use Google Reader. There's no reason that every day to wake up and spend instead of the morning paper, look at 10 feeds, look at what's going on in the world, just even the headlines. Well, it's so inspiring. There's some great places like Read Write Web now, where it's not even marketing, it's just helping people understand this sort of digital space. There's some really smart thinkers out there on the traditional online side, on the search side, on the email side, on the display banner side, and then there's some really visionary guys out there on the social media Web 2.0 platforms.